You know I never do podcasts so good that every time I do I would, because it's Shane Diablo's podcast and we do heavy metal and hard rock news. This stuff, it won't give you the blues. It makes you feel good inside, and you go to sleep, you get up and go to work, and you start to peep all the heavy metal news that you learned in the podcast. Everything you learned in the podcast, you tell a friend, they got to listen to the next one. So let's get started right now with the Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo show. Fell apart. I've been working on my bass skills, okay? I haven't had time for the keyboard. I've been working on my bass playing skills. You want to know what I've learned? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm this close to being able to play along to Tom Sawyer, the whole thing. I know a little bit of New World Man by Rush. I know that you guys are going to say, Shane, you're a fucking liar because you said you were going to learn New World Man first. Well, that's a hard one, so I'm going to take some time with that. I learned Orion from Metallica's amazing song. Yes, we love that. But the really cool bit, I learned that. I learned the beginning to Bomb Track by Rage Against the Machine because you know what? Heavy metal, thrash, and even rap rock I allow into my bass playing and stuff. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 149. Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. We've got lots of stories to get to. We've got your comments. It looks like there was a lot of comments left there. This is not the place for requests. This is only for your feedback because I like to get your feedback on the episodes that we do here. I like you to be part of the channel. I like you to get in the comments of all my videos and tell me your fantastical stories and interesting nuggets about the stuff that we talk about on this channel. And I'm really interested in that stuff. And I like it when you guys chat along with each other. Let me have a sip of my drink. Hello, old friend. Plenty of stories to go. Motley Crue, we won't be talking about. Motley Crue is going to do a residency in Las Vegas. Do I have that? Yes, I do have that. There was a bunch of stuff that I thought that I was going to remember that we weren't going to talk about, and now it's all escaping my mind. Here's a few things that we will be talking about in this episode. Stryper's Micheal Sweet, he says, why isn't everyone freaked out like I am about AI? Flotsam and Jetsam. We're going to talk about Flotsam and Jetsam because I think these guys, Metallica needs to take them out. They should be more, they should be out there more. They should be more well known as a thrash metal band. And Knutson says, we'd like to move up to that next rung after 40 years. Udo Dirkschneider, he can't wait to get out and do the Balls to the Wall tour. And so very much more, including Alex Skolnick, and I wanted to get into this because he did some kind of a tribute that I did not know about to Chris Oliva of Sabotage, amazing guitar player for Sabotage, and of course your comments. Welcome to Jive Talkin episode 149. Is that really businesslike? I feel like that's almost like real podcast stuff. Like you would, if they had the really good microphone and all of that, and they were saying what I just said right there, it would be perfect. Let's get into it, though. This face right here don't need no introduction. That is the Rip Man, Rip Taylor. What's his name? Tim Ripper Owens. I had to look up here in the corner. Tim, the Ripper Man Owens from KK Downing's Priest. KK's Priest. And I wanted to learn about this because he talks about how they don't offer up those paid meet and greets. I'd like to get your feedback on what you think of a paid meet and greet. Unless they're doing something really cool, I don't know about it. But here we go. Tim Ripper Owens, the Tim Man, defends KK Downing's decision to not offer paid meet and greets during KK's Priests tours. in a new interview with Nikki Black. She's very good. San Francisco, I believe that she's in that area there. Ah, yes, right there. Of the San Francisco Bay Area radio station, 107.7 The Bone. Nikki Black gonna give you the bone. KK's Breeze vocalist Tim the Rip Man Owens spoke about the band's decision to not do meet and greets on its recent tours. So they have done them in the past. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth. Oh, yeah. Some people are against paid meet and greets. They believe fans shouldn't have to pay for it. But I have a different look at it. I mean, I don't want to do them either because I want to chill. I like to chill. Me and KK. Little Netflix and chill. But it's the it's their opportunity. You're offering it to them. They don't have to buy it. And the one I want to do is totally different than everybody else's. What do you want to do? Now someone's going to steal this idea. I'm going to put it out there. Oh, he's going to give us his good idea for a meet and greet. Here we go. But I said to Ken, and I call him Ken, by the way. He goes by KK, but because I'm the Tim Ripper Man Owen, I can call him Ken. You couldn't call him Ken. And sometimes I call him Kenneth. Ken, KK Priest guitarist and leader, Kenneth KK Downing, is his initials really KKK? He's down with the KK. Isn't that a hip hop song? Or is that OPP? It's not KK. We do 10 people. That's it a night. You got some stamina there, pal. Okay, this is the Rip Man. He's talking about it. Backstage, right after we're done on stage, we have a pizza, beer, soda in the room. They walk in with us. They have some pizza. Mm-hmm. Don't be getting into that P. Diddler stuff, dude. They get a poster and an 8x10 photo, a signed set list, and a laminate. But sitting and having pizza and beer and taking photos, I mean, how cool is that? It's the first free beers that they get all night. You know, they've been drinking those literally $17 24-ounce beers. So they're like, thank you, Tim, the Rip Man Owen. I mean, we just rocked out to KK's Downing's Priests, Kenneth's Priest. And now we're eating free pizza and beer with the band. It's a pretty good idea. But sitting and having pizza and a beer and taking a photo, I mean, how cool is that? It's great. And it would be pretty fast. Owen continued, the other problem nowadays, while people have to do paid meet and greets, is to fund the tour. I mean, it's so expensive to tour nowadays. We're out here with a semi and a bus and a full crew and screens and this and that and the stage set up. And it's really expensive, but KK's got that and he doesn't want it. But KK's got that and he doesn't want to do it. And I think it's cool because he has the rights. It's like, this is it. I don't want to make the fans have to pay for it. We love Kenneth. That's his thinking. But the fans want to pay for it. They want to do it. Well, they'd also want to walk through the back door for free there. If we're being honest, Tim, the Rip Man, is if you wanted to just have a big door that was wide open and allow 10 or 15 of them, you could throw guitar picks out. All right, I'll give you a better idea for your band. You have some kind of thing that you throw at them, maybe big steel balls or something, but you throw them out in the audience, and whoever's got them at the end of the show, they get to come back and have the pizza and beer. Owens previously discussed KK Priest's decision to not offer paid meet and greets last December. In an interview with Kevin McKay of Florida's 99 Rock WKSM radio station, he said at the time, we usually don't do meet and greets. I know it's the big thing to do nowadays, and I would be all right doing them, the meet and greets. But I know KK, Kenneth, Kenny, he's not a big fan of them. He likes to get in, do the show, and get out. Well, he's been doing it for long enough. I do agree with that. Let's quickly get over here to Matthew the Sweet Boy. or Michael. Don't I do it every time? If you've paid attention to these podcasts at all, you know that I want to call him Matthew Sweet because wasn't that a great rock, kind of an alternative rock guy, Matthew Sweet? Now that I want, maybe I like Matthew Sweet better than I like Micheal Sweet. But Michael is the sweetest boy. And again, with the soul patch, they're using that same image that we've talked about before. I'd like to see a little bit over here on this side of the lip, but that's neither here nor there. He's scared about artificial intelligence, everybody. And he's not wrong. We should be horrified by it. We should be excited by it, because maybe the AI robots will teach us how to live to be 200 years old and perfectly healthy and not have aching bones. But there's a lot of bad parts to it, too. So let's get into this. In a new interview with Thunder Underground. That's Australia. That's got to be. Podcast. Stryper frontman Micheal Sweet weighed in on a debate about people using artificial intelligence, AI, to create music. He said he's transcribed by blabbermouth.net. That's not a knife. Hey man, give me your money. That's not a knife. Now that's a knife. Remember that movie? What was that? Crocodile Dundee? Was Crocodile Dundee the first guy to say, come on down to Australia, I'll throw a shrimp on the barbie for you? All right, let's see what the Sweet Boy says. Micheal Sweet, blabbermouth. The human touch is fading, and that's very concerning. That it is not good for music or art in general. I think people are already bitching about the artificial intelligent album covers, right? When you just type a few words in and say, show me this, give me this, create this, and then boom, in 2 seconds you've got it. That's where we're at right now. That is where we are at right now, is you can just type in, show me this, give me that, create this, and then boom. I think we're at a point now where you don't know what's real and what's not. Did you see the creepy thing? And I don't know if it's real or not, but the 2 AI podcast hosts that realize that they're not real. Have you seen that? That'll blow your socks off. They're like, oh, I got to go home and tell my wife and kids. I mean, the whole thing is just bizarre because he's going, I got to go home and tell my wife and kids that I'm not real. I'm artificial intelligence. Which then makes you wonder if you're in fact artificial intelligent. And I leave the intelligent part off. I think we're at a point now where you don't know what's real and what's not. What's human and what's AI. You don't know. We won't know. Music has changed forever. And then people call you old for thinking that way. Oh man, you need to get with the times. You're old school. You're an old fart. Come on, man. It's like, really? Okay. If other people don't care about that, wow. Wow. He continued, music, art, it should be created by humans from the heart. Where, 3 letters of the word heart is what? Art. And 4 letters are here. So, not a computer. Let's see. Music, art, it should be created by humans from the heart, not a computer. And I think just so many people are going down that road. And it's going to be interesting to see where we're at in 10 years with music and the arts and film and all that stuff. And man, it's just mind-boggling. I don't think it's a good thing. I've heard stuff I thought, oh, wow, this is so cool. What band is this? It's Five Finger Death Punch, guaranteed. If you heard music and it was AI and it wasn't the I glued my balls to my butthole again, it sounds just like anything that Five Finger Death Punch would do. And they're like, it's AI. I almost thought that was going to say, it's A-OK. And they're like, it's AI. Okay. It's good. It's really good. You're sitting there going, yeah, but gee, I don't know what that does, why that doesn't scare more people than it does. Somebody type into the AI machines, create heavy metal Christian metal song about the Heavenly Lord, and see what pops out. That's when it gets scary for Micheal. Stryper's 40th anniversary tour dates kicked off on September 11th. You'd never start a date on that. You never forget that. In Greenville, Tennessee. They love to kick it off in Tennessee and will conclude in November 16th in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Stryper's 40th anniversary tour is a celebration of both classic hits and new era fan favorites, including outfit changes and an exciting new show production. In most cities, this will be a 2-set evening with Styles show. So there you have that. I guess the next question would be, if AI could do a better soul patch, would you allow it? It kind of goes back to the question that I had about, are you going to let artificial intelligent robots do the surgeries for you? I'm down for that. I say, you've worked out all the bugs. They say, yes, sir. All the bugs have been worked out. He's not going to go crazy and go, whatever. No, sir. Precise. Then I say, let's go for it. Besides, I'll be under the medications anyway, so I won't. No. Let's do it. Hopefully none of us ever have to get any kind of surgeries, but they're already implementing some of that stuff. Let's get into, we got a lot of comments from you guys, so I'm trying to kind of whip through this so we can get down there to the real meat and potatoes of the situation. But I have said for a long time, Flotsam and Jetsam, they put out kick-ass albums. Now their t-shirts, I had an instant with them. If I've talked about it in the Jive Talkins. And I know I've done it in the Flotsam and Jetsam videos that we've done, but they did one of those, the first 50 people get a free t-shirt, and I was one of the first 50 people, and the first time I washed it, the logo twisted off the side, and it was a white t-shirt. Come on, Flotsam and Jetsam. At least get black t-shirts. Yeah, shame, but they're too expensive. They're 5 cents more. 5 cents adds up. Flotsam and Jetsam. Erik KK Knutson still dreams big. We want to get to the next rung of the ladder. Here is 6 degrees of Metallica. Their old bass player, Flotsam and Jetsam, many, many moons ago had a Jason Newsted in the band. He joined Metallica. There's your in. They should be opening up. And what just happened? Didn't I read something where Ivan Moody, he's got some Moody issues, 5-finger deathing punches, was going to go out with Metallica. Cannot do that now because Ivan Moody's ruined it for everybody. This is your call, Mr. Hetfield. This is where you can make things happen. And you can say, Knutson and his boys are coming on the road. The quality and even occasional brilliance of Flotsam and Jetsam's first 2 and now last 3 albums are not in question. It's everything in between that has kept the long-running Phoenix Thrashers stuck in the middle. Elevated to MCA records in time for the 1990 When the Storm Comes Down. I believe that might be the record that I saw them on. Flotsy and Jetsy were being groomed as the next Metallica, yet a myriad of things stood in the way. From poor label direction, questionable album cover choices, and shifting landscapes that favored grunge. By the middle part of the decade, Flotsam and Jetsam was cast aside and had to start all over. The band's long, sometimes precipitous road eventually led to better days. While co-founding guitarist Michael Gilbert rejoined for 2013's Ugly Noise, it was the 2014 edition of fellow guitarist Steve Connolly that has proven to be the real difference maker for Flotsam and Jetsam. Beginning with their 2016 self-titled album, At Last, vocalist Erik KK Knutson was being used properly alongside potent and melodic thrash that had the band sounding fresh and invigorated. traits that were largely absent during some of their lean years in the late 90s and 2000s, the band's new album, I Am the Weapon, continues to trend, which made it a prime opportunity for blabbermouth.net to remember Flotsam Jetsam and to catch up with Erik KK Knutson. Am I saying that right, Knutson? This is not an original. Oh, this is an interview. We're not going to go through all this. But I will pretend to be the interviewer, and I will pretend to be Erik A.K. Knutson. This is not an original idea by any stretch, but if you, like these last several years, have marked a career renaissance for Flotsam Jetsam, what can you attribute to it? Well, no. It seems that this lineup that I've got now is just really smooth, like a smooth criminal. There's no egos, there's no fighting, there's no jealousy within anybody. We all know our writing parts, and they seem to be working really well. When decisions come up for a touring or songs on a record or picking a new manager, we all seem to agree. It's making life very simple and very nice. And I think these records are kind of a product of that. Anytime you're having you're in a good headspace and you're feeling good, things are going to go good for you, Knutzy. Blabbermouth says, are you saying, wait a minute, are you saying the band environment was stressful before all of this? I don't know about stressful, you son of a bitch. No, he didn't say that. But there was always something that was kind of in the way. Whether it was one person or our need to be partying rock stars, that'll get you every time. Whatever the situation was, there was always something in the way. Now I've got a bunch of veterans who have been through all that crap and came out on the other side. It's just completely different atmosphere being in this band than it has ever been before, Mr. Blabber. Who is steering the ship these days? Is it you? Is it Mike Gilbert? Everybody has an equal say in everything. We rely on Ken, Mary Drums, for some stuff. He's been through a lot. Ken Mary? He's been through a lot of stuff. He's been through a lot. So when it comes to the business end of things, there's a whole list of stuff that we nod to Ken for. Mike Gilbert and I have been through 40 years of this. We know what not to do, and when it comes to what we want to do, what to do, we lean on Ken. We love Ken. He helps us. Steve Connolly is a songwriting machine. We asked the guy, we need to start thinking about working on the next album, Steve. Put down your phone and get to work on writing new songs. And we asked the guy, we need to start working on new song, next record. Can you come up with songs? And he says, I get the publishing, so you damn sweet straight I am. The next day, he hands in 5 that are amazing. That's a kind of neat thing, too. We ask for something from one of us, and in the band, it happens. 3 days after Steve gave us 5 songs, I already had 4 lyrics and melody lines. Knutson's getting paid, too, because the lyric and melody line for the vocal and the melody of the song gets the publishing. I always thought that was shit, because the bass and drums are the back end. They do a hell of a lot of work. The songs wouldn't be the same, but they don't get the same kind of credit unless the band splits all songwriting credit equally. Usually it is the singer and it is the guitar player or whoever created the melody. 3 days after Steven gave us 5 songs, right, I already had about 4 lyrics and melody lines. Every aspect of the whole writing process just gets us more excited and more pumped up. And next thing you know, it's unbelievable. We have a whole record and 10 songs. We have 10 songs even left over that we're going to work on. it's really a very nice place to be when you're writing. I think Steve Connolly might be an idiot savant. If he can just whip out, they say, we need songs. Five days later, he's got 5 songs. He might be one of them idiot savants. Udo Dirkschneider. He loves his buddy Peter Baltus, who former Accept. And so he's kind of, what Udo's doing here is he's kind of rubbing a little bit of stink pie in Wolf Hoffman's face, because he's very excited to play the Balls to the Wall album in its entirety with Peter Baltus, because he wants to get the Wolfenstein agitated, I think. Three albums I've listened to this week. Would you care to know what those 3 albums are? I'm trying to go in the Wayback Machine. I did listen to Life, Sex, and Death all the way through again. And I remember loving that album a lot more than I do now. It's still good. I still think that Life, Sex, and Death was ahead of their time. They would probably be doing way better now than they did back then. Another album I had never listened to all the way through, and you're going to want to spank my bare ass with Grandma's old yardstick when you hear this. Led Zeppelin 4. The only song I didn't recognize on it was the one that was just the mandolin number. And it sounded like Robert and maybe a gal are singing. And it was something about the Shire or something. I'll never go back to Nevermore. But I'd never heard that. It's a pretty good record, but it had all those hits on it, Black Dog. And I knew that, hey, hey, mom, say the way you move. I didn't know it was called Black Dog, though. That's crazy, right? And the other album that I listened to, well, I did listen to Godflesh's Slave State. Slave State's more kind of dancey. If you're into Street Cleaner, the first Godflesh record, the second ones with Street Cleaner, it had Like Rats and Christ Bait and all, whatever. This is like the dancier older brother version. It's more kind of industrial dance club, and there's remixes on it and stuff, but it's just a couple of albums that I listened to this week. Let's get into it really quick here. Udo the Dirkenmans. He's looking forward to playing that record in a new interview with Eric Blair, the Blairin' Out with Eric Blair show. I love him because he just lunges out at people with a microphone. Former Accept and current Udo frontman, Udo Dirkschneider, spoke about his plans to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Accept's classic album, Balls to the Wall. Let's plug a bomb in everybody's house. Every time, it's right there. Plug a bomb in everybody's house. I think next year, I think next year we make a break with Udo. And now we start in November in South America, the 40th years anniversary of the Balls to the Wall album. And that means I think we could, until end of next year, what? And I think we could continue until the next end of next year. I mean, they're already booking stuff, and it's going very well. So that means, of course, I play the whole Balls to the Wall album. And I'm really looking forward to it. This. Also, now I have Peter Baltus, former Accept bass playing. He's playing with me. God bless you. Asked what he loves about, what do you love about playing with Peter again? Udo, let's tear off that facade that you wear of the heavy metal madman, and just tell us a little bit of what it's like to play with him again. It's fantastic. We have a really good relationship. So, when he left Accept in 2018, we were working together on an album with the German Army. A classic album. We were writing songs together, and that was the first time we were working together again. And then, oh no, just like that, the problem came for Udo. When we had this game over tour in Europe, the other bass player that had at the time left felt very sick, and his belly and his tum-tum felt very sick. And then for me it was like, oh no, what am I doing? And I need a bass player who can do everything very quick. And I was calling Peter. I asked him, oh Peter, oh my sweet Peter, can you help us on this tour? And then I think, in South America, the bass player that we had before, he said,
yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm out of Udo, okay? And then we're
sitting there in a restaurant, and I said, oh no, we have to look for a new bass player. And Peter said,
wait a minute. Maybe I would love uns to join Udo.
And so here we go, and it's good. I mean, I'm really looking forward also to working with him on the next Udo album. He keeps pumping them out, don't he? Dirkschneider, which is completed by drummer Sven Dirkschneider, Udo's son. Really? Did I just call him Dirkschneider, even though his name's Dirkschneider? Udo's son, and the talented guitarist duo of Audrey Smirnoff, good name, and Fabian D. Dammers, even better name, will celebrate uns the 40th anniversary of the Balls to the Falls, which was originally released in 1983, and is the most commercial and success and best-known album by Accept, by embarking on a full European tour in the spring of 2025. 9 years ago, in 2015, Udo announced that he would embark on a special tour, and isn't now, remember, except Wolfie's getting ready to do a 50th anniversary tour. So they're going to be doing them head-to-head, aren't they? Do you see how good heavy metal news journalism works? I'm doing it right now. Did you know that? That Wolf Hoffman, they're currently doing a tour, but then Mark Tornado and the rest of the boys are going to do a 50th anniversary, and I believe that it's going to coincide with Udo doing his Balls to the Wall tour. 9 years ago in 2005, Udo announced that he would be embarking on a special tour, during which he would perform Accept songs one last time under the Dirkschneider banner, before closing that chapter for once and for all. Since then, the former Accept frontman has continued to play Accept material at select shows, including at September 18th, 2020 Udo concert in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. It's where old freaking Iron Maiden singer guy, Diano, he loves Bulgaria. He's playing there every Tuesday, which was released on DVD and Blu-ray. When he first announced the original Dirkschneider tour in 2005, Udo said, let me make clear break for myself. What? Said that had to make a clear break for myself. Close the book on this, and that is it. And I have the problem that people come to me and ask me to play more Accept songs, he explained. Other people ask me why I play Accept songs at all, because there are more than 15 Udo records. Well, it's because they're popular. A couple of good bangers off the Accept records, probably just as good as any Udo, right? There he is. God love him. He looked older. He must be doing that Benjamin Button shit, because I swear a few years ago I says, oh, Udo, he's not looking too well. And he looks like he's looking better. This really quick, then your comments. Alex Skolnick, I wanted to hear what he talked about. Of course, I got to see Chris Oliva with my own eyes. I saw Savatage on the Gutter Ballet Tour with a fantastic little band called Vicious Rumors opening up. And I've told the story before where I damn near tore the bass strings off the bass player's bass. I apologize for that. But he stuck the bass out to go, give him a little strum. And I grabbed him. I don't know what I was just a kid. I was dumb, okay? But I guess Alex Skolnick did a tribute to Chris Oliva, and I wanted to hear a bit about that before we get into your thoughts and opinions. Testaments. Alex Skolnick reflects on Savatage's Chris Oliva tribute. I chose not to think about the gravity of the moment. In early 1994, Alex Skolnick, who had parted ways with San Francisco Bay Area thrashers Testament several months prior, received an unexpected phone call. Yes, hello. John Oliva, fantastic singer, the original vocalist of Savatage and the brother of the band's late guitarist Chris Oliva, asked if Skolnick would join him at Tampa's legendary Morris Sound Recordings to play A Handful of Rain, and we've done that on the first listens, I believe. The group's first album after Chris' 1993 death at the hand of a drunk driver. Initially, Skolnick, just 25 at the time, politely declined the invitation. But after John made it clear that no long-term commitment was required, just like John, he kind of comes and goes when he feels like it. The guitarist, who'd gotten to know the Oliva brothers 4 years earlier when Testament and Savatage toured together, changed his mind. I'll bet you that would have been Souls of Black tour, because I felt like the Souls of Black went a little Black album, you know. It was still good, still heavy stuff, but they seemed a little. I feel like that would have been the record right there that they would have toured with Savatage. If they toured together, well, he changed his mind. Soon after completing his guitar parts in the studio, Skolnick joined Savatage for a brief U.S. tour and 4 shows in Japan, the last of which yielded the live album Japan Live 94. Have we done something from that? I feel like we watched something with Skolnick in there, which was recently released on vinyl for the first time in conjunction with the 30th anniversary. While Japan Live 94 officially marked the end of Skolnick's time with Savatage, their paths would cross again 6 years later when the band's late producer and lyricist Paul O'Neill asked Skolnick to join Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Okay. That might have been what it was, is we did something from Trans-Siberian Orchestra and we watched it because they said Alex Skolnick was in it. I can't remember. Whose winter tours gave the guitarist the chance to play some of America's most storied arenas. Below, Skolnick... Below, Skolnick, who rejoined Testament in 2005, reflected on his brief but impactful stint with Savatage, and after 3 decades of hindsight, reveals what he'd change about how he approached the group's music on the stage. Another interview from Blabbermouth. It's hard to believe, Alex, that you were only 23 when you left Testament. Oh. It never made sense to play up the youth thing. Even back then, I got the sense that there were musicians who really played up being great for their age. But I realized how limiting that was. I didn't want to be good for my age. I wanted that not to matter. Well, you've surely answered this question 1,000 times by now, I'm sure. But for the uninitiated, why'd you leave? What happened? They say the more years go by, the faster they seem to go. And it's true. I'm saying it's true. It feels that way. And the reverse is true. If you don't have that many years on you, time seems to go a lot slower. I look at it now, the time I was 16 to 23, and it doesn't seem like that much time. These last 7 years seem to have gone by very fast, in a blink of an eye, I'd say. But being that age, it's almost half your life, so it seemed like a long time. Do I have snot dripping down my nose? I feel like I got a wet nose like a goddamn dog. At the time, I was growing. I was growing up being a big boy. 16 to 23, that's growing up. I was at this very impressioned age and needed to step out, experience life outside the band, experience music outside this very specific genre. Now, Alex, your first career move post-Testament was forming a band called Exhibit A? Could we hear something about that? I had no experience leading a band. I don't think I was ready at the time. I was sort of able to bring song ideas to Testament and work with them, but it was still a band that already existed before I was there. I think in retrospect, I would have been better off playing in more bands that were started by somebody else. But I didn't want that at the time because the Testament experience was very overwhelming. Well, do you mind me retorting, Alex? Now, let's cut the goddamn bullshit, all right, and get down to the real meat and potatoes of this interview. In 1994, John Oliva contacted your manager to ask if you'd guest on a Savatage first album after the death of his brother. John Oliva's brother, Chris? And don't try and dodge this either. You toured with John and Chris in the 1990. What was your impression of them? They were funny. Just ridiculous. Over the top sense of humor. I remember a lot of inside jokes and being very pleasantly surprised that Chris seemed to approve of my guitar playing because I had been a fan of I had been a fan. Savatage was one of these tales in the music industry of what could have been, should have been. Bad record deals, bad management, poor distribution, but really good music and great live shows. Another thing I'll tell you about seeing Savatage live is that drummer could not take his eyes off me. It felt very unnerving. He could not take his eyes off me. I was like, every time I was just looking around and looked back and he was just, and he never blinked either. Just staring. You know, in the hall of the Mountain King. You know. Bad record deals, bad management, poor distribution, bad. It's just really bad all the way around. I had heard somewhere that I was in high school. I heard them in high school before I joined Testament even. I had friends that were big record collectors and bought all the metal imports and stuff. And word got out about Savatage and how great they were, especially their earliest material, but you couldn't find it anywhere. Everybody I knew who had a Savatage album had a second or third generation tape. Now, Mr. Skolnick, if you don't mind, initially you turned them down. Is this correct? Yes. It had nothing to do with the band. I was a fan. I liked the music. It was a little bit like you've just gone through the worst divorce situation and you're traumatized. That was what it was, okay? It was just, I just wasn't ready. I'm not ready for another relationship. I just got out of that relationship, 16 to 23, with, some would even say that was my most virile times. And I just got out of that relationship, which was Testament. And I didn't want to jump into another relationships. Soon after it, well, hold on, John. Hold on, Alex. Jesus Christ. Soon after, however, John called you directly and your answer changed. John reached out and expressed that it really would mean a lot. And he understood where I was coming from because he didn't want to hurt your heart. Because I said, look, John, I'm in a bizarre place in my musical existence right now, okay? I'm exploring. And I don't even know if I want to be in a heavy guitar band right now. I was studying with pro jazz musicians and thinking about studying music at the university level and staying away from the music business. The music business was not looking too kindly upon bands of the 80s. I just want to be honest with you, John. This was not only the era of Seattle and the grunge, but the whole talk of guitar solos are dead. No one wants to hear guitar solos. I was fed up with the music industry. I was straight fed up. I was fed up with the scene. I was fed up. I was fed up with people who sort of went along with that and that mindset. I was really fed up with that mindset. That's where I was at the time, John. I didn't think it made sense for me to join another band, but I did my best to convey to John where I was coming from on all of these fronts. And John sat down to his piano and played a beautiful little piano bit and said he understood. He made it clear it's okay if we could just have you for this album cycle with no hard feelings. And so that's what happened. Now, we're not going to get into to clarify because we got your comments and we got a lot of them. And I got to make sure that I get through them. To clarify, Alex, it was clear going in that you were only going to join the band temporarily. I think John hoped that it would work out long term. The invitation was there, and I felt so guilty. I felt so guilty because many people would have jumped at that. At one time, I would have jumped at that too. But I'm a little bit of an oddball. And he laughed right there. So that's it. That's it. I think I love that. I've always loved that little gray streak he's got in his hair. That's his trademark, isn't it? He's like the Jay Leno of thrash metal. Let's get into your comments, my friends. We've got a lot of them. If you're tuning in for the first time or listen to all of them, I appreciate it. I think I've got them all here. Let's see Robbie here. Robbie T. All right, he's got 5 hearts received. He's going to get another one today. Thanks for another great episode, Shane. And despite your technical issues, I love the new format. You can see the expression on your face better. Thank you. I think you should keep it. Done. We will do that. Rodzilla. Well, let's take a look over here. Rodzilla rocks. Yes, 12 hearts received, 53 comments. Very good. Very good, sir. Hey, that's part of being in a band. Arnell is amazing. He's talking about Arnell Pineda of Journey. And he put that, he said to everyone, hey, you text to 1-800-JOURNEY, do you want me to stay in the band or not? And everyone resoundingly said, yes, we want you to stay. Hey, that's part of being in a band. Arnell is amazing, and I think it sucks that he has to be hard on himself. Everybody's going to have a bad night. And let's be thankful that it's not tracks, right? Yeah, what's worse, him having a bad note or it skipping? Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. You know, you don't want that. That's even worse. Neela? Who's this? Nalia? Oh, I like that. Nalia. One comment. Is it this one? My great support of Arnell. Thank you. My great support. Or Arnell. Thank you for taking the time or share Arnell's message with the fans as I don't have FB. Good for you. Don't get it. If Arnell Pineda quits, for sure, that's the end of Journey. I think so too. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but unless old boy comes back to the band, I think that's just, you know. Nalia says, Neil and Jay Kane's instruments can be repaired and replaced instantly, but Arnell only has one instrument, his vocal cords. The two who manage the scheduled tour should have to protect Arnell's health welfare. Remember that AP Arnel Pineda had been loyal and consistent with the band without fail for 17 years. He's been with them that long. Still Nalia here. It says, for the band to recruit a new frontman maintaining a legacy sound would not be so instant, as Neil and Jay Kane were already in their senior year. Without AP as frontman may speed up at their early retirement. I agree. She says, for sure, some rock bands that need a good frontman who is so versatile like AP are just around waiting. For sure will treat him right if AP leaves Journey. Yeah, he'll find work. No doubt about that. There's your heart. Rock and Roll says, horns up, Diablo. LML. Or is that the heavy metal horns, but done with the with letters instead? Is that what that is? Because I like that better if I'm thinking of it like fingers. Either way. Mike Buchanan coming in, and he has a good gravy. Good, my God, he's got it here. Here we go. Got to get these eyes set. Mike Buchanan. As of this post, it is October 1st, and that means the beginning to my Spooktoberfest. Every year on October 1st, I watch one of, if not the best zombie movie ever made. One of, if not the best zombie movie ever made. So with that, I give you movies that are brilliant and are on the top 10 movies of all time. On my top 10 movies of all time. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. There are two movies in this world that I have seen more than 30 times, and this is one of those movies. The other is Groundhog Day. Are you sure you've seen it that many times? Which I've seen every year since its release date in 1993. 56 years later, and this remains the late George A. Romero's crowning achievement. The man set a new bar for the zombie genre that would last for decades using only a 35mm camera. It started with a brother, Walter, and sister Barbara visiting a cemetery. A strange man then shows up, attacking them both. The sister manages to escape, but her brother, not so much. She then flees into a farmhouse in the countryside, running into a young man, fortifying the house to keep out whatever's consuming other people. The news broadcasts call them ghouls, but they do resemble zombies, being that they hunger for the human flesh and can't be killed unless shot in the head. More people arrive at the house, arguing the best strategy to stay alive, either upstairs or in the cellar. Essentially, they eat each other from the inside, fracturing from cynicism. As the night progresses, more of these things show up from all over, demonstrating their constant need to feast on human flesh. Romero's film is still just as memorable and groundbreaking as it was back in the day. Yeah, some of the stuff is hokey and awkward, plus Barbara's character is rendered pretty useless after the first half. Yeah, that's true. Yet the movie is still very effective, scary, and impactful for having an immensely low budget. This even succeeds being a political undercurrent and some commentary with distrust of authority. It also works as an allegory for the racial tensions at the time, especially with the hero of the film being an African American played by Dwayne Jones. And they did do the remake of it, and that was the guy that played Candyman, yes? He set the benchmark. Dwayne Jones, he set the benchmark for many black actors in the industry. The examining of the instant removal of humanity is very present here too, yes. Expert use of black and white lighting, effective jolts, very well acted characters, and horrific music. After all this time, this is a horror movie that manages to tap into the cultural anxieties of America while being a taut thriller. You're doing very good with this, buddy. This sounds like fucking Roger Ebert. Much of it stems from Romero capturing the paranoia of the Cold War, the countercultural hippie movement, and the racial riots. This is the architect of modern horror with great allegories of having an analog for capitalism, the unnecessary trauma of Vietnam, or the existential fear of abjection and death. Night of the Living Dead is potent. As ever, with our current fear still lingers, awaiting a crisis, leaving out cities vacant. What? The Night of the Living Dead is potent as ever, with our current fear still lingers, awaiting a crisis, leaving our cities vacant. Romero is forever the grandfather of zombie movies. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, and pop some popcorn. Press play. Mike Buchanan says, 100% more Shane is agreeable. Count me in on as a founding member of the I've Been Around Since Episode 1 Club. I know you guys are out there. You know, it's an achievement. It really is. I don't know how good of an achievement that is, but it is some form of an achievement. Mike Buchanan says, Peter first rule, safety first. While I think he was trying to be funny, it's coming off wrong. And on paper tickets, I myself don't like the paper ticket anymore. Okay, I can't even remember what the hell we were talking about, but the paper tickets is ringing through. You don't like the paper tickets? I tend to lose them. And technology has evolved. You ain't losing that iPhone in your pocket, I'll tell you that, sweet cheeks. You have a small panic attack. Everyone does. You put your phone down where you forgot where you put it down, you have a panic attack. We're even starting to see facial recognition in place of tickets. What? Not sure how I feel about that. I don't like that. I bet Robert Sweet don't like it either. Or I mean Micheal Sweet. Mike Buchanan says, well, Arnell, if you decide to leave Journey, there's a newly crowned America's Got Talent winner waiting in the wings. He even got to perform with Journey during the finals. Ooh. Mike Buchanan says, still think we should have a steel cage match between Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell. Holy shit, where did Shane go? Question mark. Well, now we get even more Shane. I saw someone put a comment, because we did the video about Perry Farrell and all that. And the comment that he left, and it wasn't even on my video, it was somewhere else on one of those fight videos, but I thought, oh, I wish I would have remembered that. It was the night Perry went Farrell, F-E-R-A-L. And I went, oh, that is the best subject line ever. Mike Buchanan says, looks like Jane's Addiction has canceled the rest of their tour, and the members are concerned about the personal mental health of Perry. Mike Buchanan says, weird coincidence, I'm sitting here writing this. Is a see-through poncho naked. You should try it. Oh, you're sitting there? Weird coincidence. I'm sitting here writing this in a see-through poncho, naked. You should try it. Very liberating. If I'm wearing a naked poncho or a see-through poncho, I don't want to just wear it at the house. I want to get out and be seen. I'm on the side of Tommy's wife. Okay, he's talking about Tommy Lee's dog attack. I'm on the side of Tommy Lee's wife. If a coyote attacked one of my dogs, I would be jumping on the back of it and beating it into submission. I think just for love, that's what would happen. You know, if you love something, it's like if I swear, if a bear, had one of your children or had you would go for it. You would set aside all your fears and you would go for it to get your animal back or your child or whatever, you know. Let's see. beating it into submission. Nothing would stop this, Dad. Okay, he says, I'm on the side of Tommy Lee's wife. If a coyote attacked one of my dogs, I would jump on the back of it, beating it into submission. Nothing would stop this, Dad. Still find it hard to believe that a coyote would be in L.A. And now it's time for the Mike Buchanan Jive Talkin Jokes of the Week. Me. Can you give me a quote? Mechanic. Don't judge a book by its cover. I meant for the car. Oh, sorry. Autobots, roll out. Why did the art thief's vehicle run out of fuel? Because he had no money to buy Degas to make the van go. That's pretty good. Did you hear about the baker who upset his mother's sister? Now she's a croissant. Croissant? Did you hear about the baker who upset his mother's sister? Now she's a croissant. Croissant. I'm always able to tell if someone is lying just by looking at them. I can also tell when they're standing, too. That's a great way to get out of jury duty, is say, Your Honor, I can spot a guilty person just like that. They'll let you go. Out. As soon as you say it. Your Honor, I can spot a guilty person. From across a crowded room, I tell you I can. They say, let him go. I'm always able to tell someone if someone's lying. Okay, let's see. I'm always able to tell if someone is lying just by looking at them. I can also tell when they're standing too. Okay. Are bees able to fly in the rain? Of course they can, but not without their yellow jackets. And I just started watching. I got about a half episode into the first episode of Yellow Jackets on Netflix. And it's intriguing me. And finally, yesterday my wife thought she saw a cockroach in the kitchen. She sprayed everything down and cleaned thoroughly. Today I'm putting the cockroach in the bathroom. There you go. Fantastic. Am I giving the hearts? I can't remember. I feel like, look at all that he wrote there. I feel like I really spit that out at a quite good pace. Miss Althea coming in here. She's got her goodies. The Dumbstruck Fool says, temporary equipment malfunction and all. Hell yes to the new Shane-O-Vision. The Shane-O-Vision look of the episode. It's like a drive-in movie experience. Do you have this up on your, do you have one of those, have you seen those wall TVs? It's just a projector. You sit around, lay in bed. So now I'm in your bedroom on the wall, and I'm going like this. Dan, what are you and Miss Althea doing over there? You know, you can play that over and over in your, in the boudoir. Miss Althea on Peter Frampton. Do you feel like we do? Sure, make Megadeth the heavy, pun intended. But really, what does one expect from a venue with the words credit union in its name? I feel like I could easily cash a check that was written in 1975 there. And I agree with you on the matter of tickets. I also get muddled and frustrated with e-tickets and much prefer something tangible I can hold in my hand and put it in my scrapbook. Yeah, there's that too. You know, that's, you collected them up and people said, you didn't go to that show, dude. You're a liar. And then you go, there's the ticket stub, you son of a bitch. It happened to every one of us at some point. You say, oh yeah, I was at that concert. No, you weren't. I didn't see you there. Yeah, that's, you know why you didn't see me there? Because I didn't want to be anywhere near you. Miss Althea on Arnel Pineda. I honestly don't know how much stock I take into his should I stay or should I go fan vote challenge. While he may have been legitimately hard on himself for not sounding his best at that performance, the whole thing just otherwise seemed a little too calculated and slightly codependent to me. I 100% agree. He wanted some acknowledgement. And he don't get much of it in Journey. You know, they don't pat him on the back and say, man, you really saved our asses, pal. Miss Althea on Corey Taylor, not to dismiss the Jane's Addiction infighting, which is old by now anyhow, but is he the new go-to guy for commentary? It seems like he is coming up everywhere for everything. He sure seems to have a lot of face time in the Nothing But a Good Time docuseries on Paramount Plus. Worth the watch if you haven't checked it out yet. I didn't know it was up. I'm watching it tonight. Miss Althea on Ian Gillan and his commando poncho. One word. Ew. Miss Althea on Wile E. Coyote at the Lee compound. The footage is disturbing and harrowing to any pet owner. I have nightmares about my indoor-only cats just simply getting outside. Yep, I do too. My little kitty, she won't go down the stairs though. I wish I had the photo available right now because I'd put it up, but I got her down the stairs. I live on a split level, and I got her down the stairs, and I took this picture where she's poking her head around like, oh my God, the universe is so big. It's got to be mind-bending. You're on the top floor. You're always on the top floor. You're fed on the top floor. The kitty litter box is on the top floor. I finally get you down the stairs, and you're like, there's a bigger world out here? The footage is disturbing and harrowing. Yet I have nightmares about my indoor-only cats just simply getting outside. Thank God the dog is okay, but I swear I had no idea Tommy was married again. Who is she? Wife 3, 4? I am surprised someone hasn't pitched a reality show featuring all of the Motley exes. You need to trademark that idea right now and run it right over to one of them off-brand channels. WB or something like that. Or VH1. Another big happy birthday to Mike B. He's still 3 years younger than me. Do the math or not. Happy birthday message there from Miss Althea. You got Johnny B coming in here. Did he write another tune? Sung to the music of Jump. I get up when Jive Talkin goes down. Off the cuff is where the intro is bound. And I know Shane will have a good spiel. He's gotta scroll through the comments to see how we feel. Oh. Can't you see me sitting here? I'm reading from a metal magazine. I got a screen and it's green. This is fucking beautiful. Leave a comment, but don't be mean. Might as well talk. Jive talk. Go ahead and talk. Jive talk. Hey, hello. Hey, you. Who said that? Miss Althea, how you been? You say you don't know, no, you know. You won't know until Shane begins. Can't you see me sitting here? I'm reading from a metal magazine. You should be doing these intros, dude. Not me. I got a screen and it's green. Leave a comment, but don't be mean. Might as well talk. Go ahead and talk. Absolutely beautiful. Brings a fucking tear to my eye. It's blinking, guys. It's blinking. We're going to hustle. Okay, first, I really love the intro last week. The music was really good, and you improved like a champ. Nice work, sir. The tune stuck with me all week. I had no idea that Mr. Arnell was such a sensitive fella. I saw them a few years back when he first started singing with them, and he really delivered the goods. Overboard is an understatement for leaving it to the fans on him staying or going. Maybe Journey should can him and get Joey Belladonna to fill in. Let's go. Oh, now I'm paranoid of that. I'm paranoid of that battery flashing because it's going to go. Thumbs up on the large Shane green screen. Okay, we got that. It even made its way from Van Halen parody song I penned specifically for the podcast. Just wait until you read what I got for next week. It's a doozy. As always, great stuff, my good man. Loving the content. Yes, I have indeed listened to every episode. All of it. Not 1 minute skipped. I love that. And really wish I would have found this back then because I missed out on some great stuff. But I'm here now. And that's the most important part. And loving it. Until next time, if you can't do it right, you can always do what's left. P.S. We need to discuss Soundgarden at some point. I've been a super fan of theirs since the early days, and in one of the episodes you had stated that you were getting into them. There will never be another voice like Chris Cornell. 100% agree. I love the album, Bad Motor Finger. That's where I got into him. He was one of a kind and an amazing vocalist lyricist. Oh. All right, so if this thing goes out, we got Jedi Panda here. We love Jedi Panda. Shanda, the Jedi Panda. And it says, take no prisoners begins, ... loudly. The Virgin Credit Union Center begins to crumble. LOL. Go ahead and jive. Do, do, do. I can't believe it, jive. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Boom. Come on, baby, come on. Here we go. Come on and jive. Jive talking, baby, tonight. Oh my God. Oh. Go ahead and jive.